You lie to yourself every single day. You tell yourself, I'm fine. Tomorrow I'll change. This anger is justified. My life is under control. And those lies are not innocent. They are silent assassins, murdering your peace, your presence, and the one rare human life you were given against impossible odds. In the ancient markets of Varanasi, where the Ganges flowed like liquid gold under the merciless sun, there lived a merchant named Michael. Michael rose before dawn, dressed in the finest silk, and walked the crowded streets with the stride of a man who had conquered the world. His carts overflowed with spices, silks, and gems. His ledgers were perfect. His smile was flawless. Yet every night, when the oil lamps flickered low, the same whisper returned. Something is missing. And every night, Michael answered the whisper the same way. I'm fine. This is success. Tomorrow will be better. He lied so convincingly that even he believed it. One scorching afternoon, Michael loaded his donkeys and set out on a familiar trade route through the dense jungle that bordered the great river. The path was well worn. He had traveled it 100 times, but that day, something shifted. A sudden storm of dust and wind erased the trail. The donkeys panicked. Michael shouted commands, cracked the whip, and pushed deeper into territory he did not know. Hours later, the jungle grew quiet, too quiet. The donkeys had fled. His water skin was empty, and Michael stood alone beneath towering banyan trees, heart hammering, realizing he was lost. Night fell like a blade. He stumbled forward until he saw it, a small stone monastery bathed in moonlight, tucked against a cliff overlooking the Ganges. A single lantern burned at the gate. An old monk stood there motionless, as if he had been waiting for centuries. Welcome, traveler, the monk said softly. The forest does not lose honest men, only those running from themselves. Michael laughed, a harsh, defensive sound. I am not lost. I am simply delayed. Tomorrow I will find my way. The monk smiled the way mountains smile at the wind. Stay the night. The lies you carry grow heavier in the dark. Here they may finally drop. Michael wanted to refuse. Every instinct screamed to keep moving, to stay in control. But exhaustion won. He followed the monk inside. The monastery was simple. Stone floors, a small shrine, and one empty cell for guests. No servants, no luxury, just silence. That first night, Michael lay on the thin mat and told himself the usual stories. I have built an empire. People respect me. My family is proud. I am living the life I deserve. The lies felt thin here, like old cloth stretched across a wound. He tossed and turned until the first pale light of dawn crept through the window. When he stepped into the courtyard, the monk was already sitting in perfect stillness, facing the rising sun. Sit, the monk said without turning, and watch your mind the way you would watch a thief in your marketplace. Michael sat. At first he felt powerful. He could handle silence. He was a merchant, Discipline was his trade. But within minutes, the thoughts came roaring. What if the caravan left without me? What if my competitors have already taken my contracts? What if my wife sees through the mask I wear at home? He tried to push them away with more lies. I am strong. I am in control. Everything is fine. The monk never spoke. He simply sat, and the silence grew heavier than any load Michael had ever carried. By the third hour, Michael was sweating, though the air was cool. Memories he had buried for years clawed their way up. The son he barely knew because he was always too busy. The fear of poverty that still lived in his bones from childhood. The quiet terror that one day he would die and none of his gold would follow him. He stood up suddenly. This is pointless. I need to leave. The monk opened one eye. The door's open, but the lies you run from will simply follow you down the next road. Michael paced like a caged animal. The fourth hour brought rage. He shouted at the monk, at the walls, at the river below. Why are you doing this to me? I am doing nothing, the monk replied. You are finally meeting the man you have spent your whole life avoiding. That evening, a storm exploded over the jungle. Lightning cracked the sky open. Rain hammered the stone roof like angry fists. Michael sat in the shrine room, soaked and shivering, while the monk lit a single candle. In the flickering light, Michael's face looked older, cracked. The merchant who had commanded respect in every marketplace now looked like a frightened boy. The monk spoke for the first time in hours. Tell me, Michael, what is the one lie you have told yourself longer than any other? Michael's mouth opened. Nothing came out. Then, in a voice barely above the thunder, he whispered the truth he had never dared speak. I tell myself, death is for other people. That if I work hard enough, stay busy enough, successful enough, it won't touch me. I tell myself I have time. The monk nodded slowly. That is the father of all your other lies. The great illusion. Every habit, every mask, every tomorrow you postpone is built on that single falsehood. Outside, the storm raged. Inside, something inside Michael broke open. He wept, not gentle tears, but the raw, ugly sobs of a man who had finally seen the costume he had worn for 40 years. The lion's skin of success, the merchant's robes of importance, the smile that hid terror. All of it falls. The monk waited until the sobs quieted. Then he said, Buddha once told his monks a story of a man hanging from a vine between two tigers, with mice gnawing through the only thread keeping him alive. In that moment of total helplessness, the man saw a single wild strawberry. He reached out, plucked it, and tasted it fully. Not because the strawberry was special, but because for the first time he was completely, brutally present. You, Michael, have been running from two tigers your entire life. The past you regret and the future you fear. The mice have been chewing for decades. The vine is almost gone. The question is no longer whether the tigers will get you. They will. The question is whether you will finally taste the strawberry. Michael stared at the candle flame. For the first time, he noticed its beauty. The way the light danced, the way the wax smelled, the way his own heartbeat felt inside his chest. Alive, temporary, miraculous. The next morning, the storm had passed. The jungle glistened. Michael stood at the monastery gate with the monk. "I thought I came here by accident," Michael said. "Now I see the forest did not lose me. It brought me home." The monk placed a hand on his shoulder. "Go back to Varanasi, but never again wear the lion's skin. Never again tie the cat to the post out of habit. Never again tell yourself you have time. The only disguise that ever truly protects a man is the one he earns from within. Radical honesty, fierce presence, and the courage to taste each strawberry as if it were his last. Everything else will bray eventually." Michael walked back through the jungle a different man. The same body, the same face, but the lies had fallen away like dead skin. When he reached the market, he did not shout orders or flash his wealth. He simply looked at the people around him, really looked, and for the first time saw the same quiet desperation in their eyes that had once lived in his. He sold his finest silks not for profit, but to give a young widow enough to feed her children. He sat with his son that evening and listened instead of speaking. And that night, when the whisper returned, "Something is missing," Michael answered not with a lie, but with the truth. "Nothing is missing. I am here right now, and that is enough." You are Michael right now. You have spent years perfecting the disguise. You have tied the cat to the post for reasons you no longer remember. You have convinced yourself the tigers are far away and the vine will hold forever, but the mice are chewing. The question the Buddha asked his monks is the same question this story asks you. How long will you carry a borrowed identity before your true nature calls out? The storm is coming for every one of us. The vine is thinner than you think. There is a strawberry growing in the crack of this exact moment. A breath, a glance, a heartbeat, a single act of honest courage. Will you reach for it, or will you keep lying until the last fiber snaps? The choice has never been tomorrow. It has always been now.